what else can we add? You might think about other scenarios, but let's now move to the next field, which is the mobile number or the email address. So here we can say, let's add another checklist and call it mobile number or email address scenarios. Okay, so we tested the valid ones. Let's test the invalid. So verify leaving phone number or email address field empty. Okay, because they are both in the same field, so we should leave them one time. Okay, but in the first name and last name we had two fields, so each one of them should be left empty separately. Of course, when we leave any field empty, we should fill all other fields with valid data in order to test the error message that appears to the user. Let's add another one. Let's begin with the phone number. So verify providing an invalid phone number, for example 123. This is very short. Let's say, okay, very short. This is an example. Also verify providing an invalid phone number and very long, for example like this. Okay, no phone number has this number of characters. Then we can provide letters or special characters in the phone number. So verify providing letters or special characters in the number or email field. Here, because this field includes the number or email, so also we will test this scenario one time. Okay, and the error message should say this format is not a number format and it's not also an email format. We can also verify providing Arabic input in the phone number field. So here, for example, like this. Then the email, we can verify registration using an already used email. Okay, you can say that we should verify registration using an invalid format email. Well, this was correct previously when we had a separate field for the email. But here, if you notice, this scenario is the same as this scenario, providing letters or special characters in the field, because the invalid format of the email is providing numbers or special characters. So we don't need this scenario. Okay, so we have already used email. This is the only invalid scenario for the email. Then we have the password. And like we said, we can say password test scenarios. Like we said, the password scenarios are the same as the ones we used before. The first one, verify using an empty password. Okay, and here if we return to the first one, we had the password scenarios, those ones. So this and this and this and this and this and this. Okay, so let's do this. I will open it in a new tab and I will copy them and paste them here. So the first one is a short password. Okay, the second one, password without lowercase letters. Okay, the third one is password without uppercase letters. Then password without any letters. Then password without any numbers. I made a mistake in this scenario, doesn't include any numbers. We should say here, for example, DE. Let's edit it here. Okay, so here like this. Then password doesn't include any special characters, this one, and then this is the list of passwords. Okay, so after the password we have the date of birth and the gender. So for the date of birth we can add checklist date of birth scenarios. In Facebook we have a special situation. I will open the registration page in order to explain it. So like you see in Facebook, if we create a new account, here's the date of birth. The valid date of birth is any date of birth between, for example, 13 years and 120 years, for example, okay? So we need to test the valid age. And we need also to test the invalid age. The invalid age, for example, less than 13 or more than 120. So if we do this, new tester at gmail at okay, I will re-enter the email, and then let's mail. So if I provide this date of birth, it's okay. Okay, this is a valid date of birth. What if we create a user who is born after 207? So like you see, it's accepted. 208 accepted, 209 accepted, 210 also accepted, 11 okay, 12, 20 we have an error. Why? He says it looks like you have entered the wrong info, because it is not logical that there is a kid less than 2 years who is registering to Facebook. So this is an invalid scenario. If we write here, verify registration using a very young age, for example 2 years. This is the first scenario. Then let's go, and here we have the date of today. This is the maximum address that I can choose. Can I choose something in the future? Also, it is a wrong info, so we can test this also. Okay, verify registration using a date in the future. This is also invalid. But what if my age is very young, for example 2012? So this is not invalid. Okay, here we have a kid who is 9 years old and he is trying to register to Facebook. Let's click on sign up. Oh, here he says this is an incorrect email address. Okay, let's use our email address here. Okay, so this is a different scenario. The application let me provide my date of birth, but if I am too young to register, okay, then he will give me this error message: we are not able to process your registration. So this happens, for example, if the user is between 4 years and 13 years. Here this user can provide his input or his data, but he cannot register. Why? Because he is too young. The first scenario was declined because there is no person at this age who is able to write down his information, which is 2 years. So here we can say verify registering or registration using a young age. We can say between 4 and 13. Okay, after 13 you can register. Okay, like you see, you are ineligible to register to Facebook. Okay, he blocked the functionality from this browser. Why? Because he needs someone older to come and begin the registration process. So here, this is the scenario. It is an odd scenario, but it might happen in some applications. In Facebook, less than 13 you cannot register. So here then we have the valid. We said the valid one, which was in the valid scenarios. Of course, we have already tested between 13 and 100 or 120, but then we can add another one, verify registration using a very large age, more than 120, for example. This should provide also an error message. What I applied here is called equivalence partitioning. This is a technique of software testing in which we divide the system into partitions, and each partition has a similar output. Okay, so here we have 4 partitions. We will explain this technique later. So the last thing is the gender. We tested the female, male, and custom. The last one is to test leaving the field empty. This is the only scenario for the gender. So here we can say gender scenarios, verify leaving the gender scenario empty. So here we have 35 sign up scenarios for Facebook website. I think this is a good coverage of the functionality. Any other scenarios can be explored using a technique that's called exploratory testing or ad hoc testing without documenting them.